Mozart, whose media is at the forefront of storytelling with the focus of pushing boundaries and delivering unparalleled entertainment. MWN Media is reshaping the way we experience media. Stay tuned for political affairs, entertainment, and other news. Stay tuned.
Yes, I. Greetings, family.
Today we're going to be discussing about the American politics, the role of Congress, the role of the Senate, and why is it that for the past 3 weeks we never had a speaker. But we have a very special person who is so deep delve into American politics. I call her Bigley, a beautiful person I have come to love and to respect. And today we are honored to have her on the show. She is with us on the phone. So, viewers, let's welcome our sister Bigley. Sister Bigley.
Yes, my dear brother,
You are welcome.
Martin Spectacle.
Yes.
I'm more than on.
You are welcome onto the show. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
I do hear you.
How are you? How are you? I know summer is almost getting to an end, and winter is showing its face through our windows. And it's like now we have to change our wardrobes, and then So, how are you getting yourself ready for the new season?
You just have to do what you have to do and roll with every year and every season as it comes along.
Right.
So far, so good. The weather has been warmed up.
Yes.
Which is a little deceptive, but then in a couple of weeks, we are going to be all bundled up into the new season of fall.
Thank you so much. Today, we're going to be talking about American politics. We're going to be talking about the role of Congress, the role of the Senate. And we're also going to be talking about why was Speaker McCarthy ousted. And by the grace of God, this time we have a new speaker. It's been a toil. In summary, can you just give us the role of Congress? What is Congress? The history of Congress and the Senate. Then as time goes on, 30 minutes, we'll start touching points to point. So in summary, what's the role of Congress from its history?
The role of Congress is a legislative branch. They write the rules or they legislate from their Congress. We have two branches of Congress. We have the upper chambers, which is the Senate, and we have the lower chamber, which is the Congress.
Okay.
And both houses comprise of 535, 100 senators. Most of the time we know them as senators. Comprise about 100 members. And those 100 members, 2 come from each state who are elected by their state representatives or the voters in their state to represent them. So every state has 2 senators.
Okay.
And then in Congress, they are voted according to their district. So every state has their districts that they are voted in. And they are the lower chamber, as they are known, or House of Representatives.
Okay.
To represent the citizens or the people in their district or in their community or in their state as a whole.
Okay. So Congress, members of Congress are voted every 2 years.
Yes, the House of Representatives
the House of
are voted every 2 years.
And then
but
Senate.
For the senators, who are the upper chamber, as they are called, are voted in every 6 years.
So tell me, today, most of our House of Representatives are lawyers, lecturers, but in the days of old, they were just farmers. Can you give me a little history about that?
Yes, when the founding fathers, after they went through writing the Constitution and deliberating and all those things,
Right.
most of them at that time wanted the rule of government in America must be for the people, by the people.
Okay.
So it was for any lay person, anybody. You can be a welder, you can be a teacher, a lawyer, a nurse, whatever profession you are, that you live in your district or your community. You can also represent your district, your state, or whatever.
Okay.
And that was what it was. And then they didn't have the full-time politicians that it is today.
Okay.
They were part-time politicians.
Like career
because
politicians.
Yes, they had a real job. They had their small businesses to run, or they were farmers,
Okay.
or they were housewives, or whatever profession or whatever their vocation was. They lived their life, and every 9 months of the year, they are among their citizens or among their district, trying to figure out and know what is the need of the public or those that they represent. That's what they are called, representatives.
Okay.
Because they are elected by the people to represent them.
Okay.
So they are not full-time politicians, more or less. They work, they don't get paid. It means you have to have a job yourself.
Okay.
Because you're not going to be paid. Maybe your community can, give you something, but then it wasn't a full paid job like it is as it's today.
Okay. Wow. So let me just ask you a very personal question, this one quickly. Yes. Why American politics? Why American politics?
Oh, well, yes. it just became so interesting.
Yes.
I did follow politics a little when I was back home in Ghana, but not as I didn't delve so much into it. And then also, when I came to America, we are the people who grew up during the Clinton years as his presidency.
Yes. And
he being a Democrat, we all bought into the Democrat line of politics. So, and more so when Clinton visited Ghana, we all kind of said, oh yeah, then that is it. And then when you travel and come out here, and then you follow into that trend of being a Democrat or Democrat-leaning aspect of it, Then you forget some of the basic rule of what the Constitution says about what America stands for. So in 2010, I started reading or I started seeing things as it was, because back in Ghana, all the news we got was from CNN. There were no other news.
Yes. CNN. That was a foreign cable network.
Exactly. Yes. So there wasn't any other news outlet for you to have any other sort of news. So that was part of the propaganda. I would say that the propaganda that I bought into at that time, knowing or thinking the Democrats were on our side or wanted the good of the country, but the Republicans, let me put it this way, were the evil people.
The conservatives are rather the evil
Yes, the conservatives. That is how they were portrayed all the time. They've always been portrayed that way by the Democrats, as Republicans are the bad ones who don't like A, B, C, and E. But in 2010, when I started reading, now the course of thank God for internet or thank God for technology. So researching or reading or finding the truth for yourself or facts for yourself was much easier. So I became an independent person, thinking with my own critical, logic, analytical mindset. So I started not buying what the news media was selling out.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Congress. For some time now, we never had a speaker for 3 weeks. Speaker Kevin McCarthy was ousted by Matt Gaetz. What is the genesis of that?
Actually, the genesis of that is because it's two things. It's in twofold, I would say. The first being, within the Republican Party, the Republican Party has been known to be conservative.
Right.
And when I say conservative, their principle or their this thing is that the party must be fiscal conservative.
Okay.
They must be, but they are more. They stand more on the religion, the Constitution.
Yeah. If you
the
say
First Amendment.
If you say conservative, what do you mean? If you say they should be conservative?
In so many ways, conservative is limited government.
Okay.
Financial responsibility.
Right.
Standing for the First Amendment, where there's freedom of speech.
Right.
Standing on the Second Amendment, where you can buy gun or you can worship God. On the First Amendment, you are allowed to worship God or whatever you worship in, but they more are standing in the Christian faith.
Okay. All right.
But yes, and Second Amendment and all those things, that is what they believe in. But more so, it's on the fiscal responsibility, the economy, limited government, and called for war.
Mm-hmm.
That is the core of unlimited tax or less tax, because they believe that when you work, the money belongs to you.
Right.
The money does not belong to the government, so you shouldn't be taxed more.
Right.
You should be taxed less.
Right.
Or the money that the government takes out of you must be used for the benefit or for the good of the country.
Wow.
Not uncalled for.
Wow. That's a good thing.
Money. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
That's it.
So
responsibility.
Yeah.
You don't buy, you don't spend more than you earn. That is their whole principle.
Right. That's a good thing, and unfortunately, we don't see the progressive for the youth of today buying into that. But let's go into the genesis of Stephen McCarthy, and then why he was ousted. Matt Gaetz, just one vote, and then for 3 weeks we never had a speaker. What is the genesis? Okay, the genesis is
when McCarthy was elected, because it was 15th round. He won his speakership on the 15th round of voting, because there was a lot of back and forth, right? But during the time, if you all watched on TV or on the news, Matt Gaetz and a few others were holding him up, that he couldn't get his vote to cross the line to have his speakership. And those 8 people who are hardcore conservatives, or I would say they are part of the hardcore MAGA, as we know now, or American First policy that is run by Donald Trump. 1, Congress must not just give a blank check to the president or the White House. 2, when the Congress people are going to vote on something, it must be put on the floor so that it will be debated among congressmen and women. So that the country will be aware of what their representatives are voting for.
Can I pause you for a while? Are you saying that they put the bills in Congress and they don't even have the chance to debate upon it? How come?
Because one, to start with, the bills are written by the lobbyists. It's not the congressman who writes the bills. It is the lobbyists. So it's also, so in other words, there's a template of the thousands and thousands of pages. It's been written by the corporate, the globalists, the corporations, the lobbyists who work for the corporations. So all these things have been written down in templates, and it's been sitting down for years. So what they do is that they just change 1 or 2 wording, and then they bring it to Congress. And then the Speaker of the House is the one who brings every bill to the floor, must bring every bill to the floor so they can vote on it. But what the speakers have been doing in the past, and I'm telling you decades ago, is that they don't put the bill on the floor.
Okay.
So that House members will have maybe a week or 2 weeks to read through every page and know what they are voting on.
Okay.
What the House speakers have been doing, both Democrats and Republican House speakers have been doing in the past is they just put the bill down a day before and say, you guys come and vote on it.
Mm.
Yes.
So it's like
the
people
Congress,
vote without even knowing what is in the bill.
Exactly.
About a 5,000 page of bills and
No,
it's brought on
no.
the floor within 24 hours and they have to read through it. And wow.
It's rubber stamped.
Mm.
So this is what has been going on. And in 2010, the Tea Party got up and revolted.
Yeah.
That is why for so long the Republican had been in minority for over 40 years.
Okay.
So the Tea Party revolted and the Republican won the majority in 2010.
That was
unfortunately
when
Obama was president.
Paul Ryan was the Speaker of the House when
Paul
Obama
Ryan,
was
it wasn't
president.
Paul Ryan. It was John Boehner.
John Boehner. Sorry.
John Boehner, yes. John Boehner was president with Obama as president then. So when that happened, what happened was after the revolt and the Republican politicians promised their constituents that we are fighting for you, vote us in. We only have the House now. We don't have the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, what did the people do? They voted and the Senate had the majority.
Okay.
So when the Republican Senate had the majority, that was in 2012, 14, and now they said, okay, we cannot enact any law until we have the presidency. So we have the three houses, the Congress, the Senate, and the presidency.
Okay.
So that we can get the bills go through. By then, Paul Ryan was the Speaker of the House.
Okay, yes, Paul Ryan.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes. And that was when Trump came in.
Okay.
So with Trump in, the problem with the 2010 was more on the Obamacare healthcare.
Okay.
Obamacare.
All right.
That was one of their problems that they were fighting tooth and nail for.
All right.
So now, Paul Ryan as Speaker of the House, they had the presidency, who was Donald Trump, the president. They had Paul Ryan as the Speaker of the House, and they had Mitch McConnell as the Senate, the leader of the majority leader in Senate.
Right.
And what happened? When Trump was putting down the tax proposals for our tax relief and Obamacare, Paul Ryan and Mitch McCarthy, what did they? They stabbed Trump at the back.
Okay.
Because they owe allegiance to the corporates, the Global Chamber of Commerce.
All right.
Chamber of Commerce, all the corporations, the big corporations, and their lobbyists.
Can we say that because Trump was new in the system, they didn't really know him, so they will prefer to stick to their old way of doing things?
Yes. Trump was new to the system.
Yeah.
So they knew they could wind him, backstab him, or delay what he wanted to do. Because when Trump came in, he had all these things in place to kind of change the system, because he has had an executive order. But he didn't know the inside politics of Washington, D.C., that they slow walk things. They want their status quo. Their allegiance is more to the corporations than to the citizens or the people who voted to serve them.
Right. So, going back to the main question again.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What triggered McGate to unstand the speaker?
Yes. So before McCarthy finally got his vote, he made a deal that, okay, before any appropriation or any bill will have to be voted upon, it will be put on the floor so that members of Congress will read through before they vote.
Right.
That was one. Two, the January 6th. You remember the January 6th
The insurrection.
that happened in the insurrection?
Yes.
Yes. That Nancy Pelosi had the so-called impeachment and set up a committee to investigate. So there are actual footage that has to be released, 14,000 hours that had to be released. Okay. And it was a promise, what is his name? The Speaker McCarthy did. Kevin McCarthy did with the people who were with it. Also, they said the current president, the Biden crime,
right?
The computer that was hacked, the computer by his son.
The laptop from
yes, the laptop from hell.
Yes.
So all those things because they wanted them, the speaker, to give them the subpoena power.
Okay.
It's the speaker who gives the committees the subpoena power so that they can subpoena those they have to call to come to Congress.
Right.
So if the speaker doesn't give that go ahead for them, it means the speaker was dragging his feet.
Okay.
And he's right. And the last thing that broke it.
I mean, Kevin McCarthy was dragging. He was stonewalling, dragging his feet.
He was stonewalling.
Okay.
Yes. And the last thing also was about spending.
Okay.
The Ukraine war, the spending for Ukraine war. So all these things were part of the deal he made, that he was going to release the JC tapes. He was going to give them the subpoena power. And then for 9 months, he did nothing.
Right.
And for 9 months, he did nothing. And Gates has been on his tail all the time, pushing him, bring it, subpoena, let's do the A, B, C, and D, and make sure that American people know that we are doing our work. We've been voted to come and to fulfill in Congress.
Right.
And finally, I think it got to a point, because the good thing also was before Mark Gates and the people voted him in, he had to sign a deal that if you don't do A, B, C, and D, we'll vote you out. We'll kick you out.
And then
he agreed to it.
he was so desperate to become speaker, so he signed to
exactly.
Sign his own death warrant.
So thinking that this young generation of the conservatives will not have the ball to fight him. So when they started making noise, he was wavering. Oh, I will not. But in the end, he even told Mark Gates that, you know what, bring it on.
Okay.
Yes, and then the next day or 2 days later, Mark Gates put this thing on the floor and said, yes, now we have to kick what is his name, Kevin McCarthy out. And that is how come we are here today.
But we thank the Lord that today we've been able to raise a speaker. His name is Mark Johnson.
Yes, Johnson.
What do we know about him, Mark Johnson? To me, he's new, very young, handsome. I saw him giving his opening speech, and he looks like he's a conservative, talking about the Bible, the national anthem, etc., etc.
Yes.
But already the Democrats are saying that he is a hard leftist. Isn't it right?
Yes, when the Democrats always tell you somebody is a hard right or MAGA right, as Biden will call him, people like that, then that person is a threat to them. Okay, because they are walking, not 100% though, but at least they have the backbone to fight the cause for the Republican voters, not the elites who are up at the top and they don't care what the little people feel or what their grievances or issues are.
Right.
So with Mike Johnson, as he was voted in, I did listen to him during the Trump impeachment.
Right.
One, he has been with Trump he also came into Congress in 2016 on the Trump wave when Trump was running.
Oh, he's been there for 4 years, 4 consecutive times.
Yes. So he has been on the Trump wave, and he came into Congress in 2016, so officially 2017. And then he has been on Trump, what is that thing called? His legal team.
Yeah.
during his
He's a
transition.
Right.
He's a lawyer. He's a constitutional lawyer for over 20 years.
Okay.
So he was part of Trump's legal team during the impeachment.
Mm.
He stands on Trump's border policy. So the things that's what Trump calls American First policy.
Right.
He's been a stalwart with Trump's American First policy.
Okay.
And when the January 6th thing happened, he spoke against it. Not against it, but he spoke why the people are tired of congressmen and congresswomen. Mm-hmm. So about the election that was stolen, he was vocal about it.
Right.
Okay. So all these things is why the Democrats are trying to discredit him and start giving him the name calling right wing. He's a MAGA water rights and all those things, so that at least they are doing their dirty job just to smear him. One, he's a conservative. He's a man of God.
Right.
He's not just a Christian, but he's a real Christian. And I was reading something about him not too long ago. I think in October 4th there, but he was even on a World Christian Network.
Okay.
Yes, so it means he's well into the Bible, the real, in Ghana we say born again, or the real Christian, they're not those of us who go to church once in a while, Christian kind, but he's rooted in Christ. That's the word, rooted in Christ. Okay. Yes.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Look, it's almost 26 minutes. Today is the first program. We'll be having more of this program. Sister Bigley is going to be my correspondent when it comes to the American politics. Well, I know we are left with only 2 or 3 minutes, but can you just give me a little jig about what is happening between the Israelis and then the White House? It looks like the White House is insisting. I don't know. It looks like, looking at the way the White House is behaving, it looks like they are calling for a ceasefire. And then
actually, it's not calling for a ceasefire.
Right.
They are trying to say it's a ceasefire. What they are trying to do is to delay the Israelis going to attack.
Okay.
The terrorists.
And by then,
Israelis.
If they should delay, by then all the terrorists will be gone. They'll pass through the channels and run to other countries.
Yes, because they are more or less in support of Hamas. Because they are more in support of those people. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
But for them, they are just trying to play both sides.
Right.
But in reality, if they are giving Israel the go-ahead within a day or two, they have crushed all those people.
Netanyahu is saying that the UN Secretary General must step down because he goofed and he didn't speak well. And then today, anyway, I know I'm going to get you back here in the next 2 weeks so that we'll go into what is current affairs, what is happening. But I just want to say that I really am so excited. We are all really appreciative of you coming to spend your knowledge with us. And Sister Bigley, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Promise me every 2 weeks you give me 30 minutes of your time to enlighten.
I will do my best
with American politics. And one thing we should all know, that whatever decision that is taken from the White House affects the whole world. So it's incumbent that people of other countries or Africa should also they should kind of look into the American politics. The Iranians are doing it. The Islamic Brotherhood in Egypt, they make sure they have a seat at the White House.
Yes. If you realize, when the Iranians had their assets frozen, for so long, the moment that $6 billion was given back to them through Qatar, this is when the whole Israeli and the Hamas had the upper hand to come and do what they did, and that's caused a lot of havoc around the world, because it doesn't just affect Israel, but it affects everyone around the world.
Yeah.
So the world now is unstable.
Yeah.
And look at what's going on in Africa.
The White House, the White House is saying that they haven't touched the money. But the question is that if I'm credited with some money, if I know there is a money in stock for me, even though I haven't touched it, it gives me the ability to spend what I have now. Knowing
It's
very
what
well.
they say.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's what they say. But in reality, part of that money has already, they've got hold of part of that money. In reality, they'll say so because people are wakening up to what's going on. Yeah. So they are just trying to put a brave face to and keep on with their talking points. Right. But in reality, a lot has already gone on.
Right. I know the program is almost come to an end, but Sister Bigley, I want you to just say something to our viewers. Then I will draw down the curtain. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, what I'll say in a nutshell is, just be an independent person, as I've also become. Read, research, and be knowledgeable.
Right.
No one will have to tell you, we should stop listening to the media anymore. We should stop. You can listen to the basic and then you follow up with what you just heard from the media, and that will enlighten you when you go. And also, if I can plug this in, there's one blogger who I follow a lot. It's just like my daily Bible.
Right.
The Conservative Tree House.
When you go there. Tree House.
Yes, Conservative Tree House. Anyone who wants to read, because this reporter or this blogger just reports things factually, with data. He comes with all the data that you need. He does a lot of research. So when you follow him, whether on financial aspect of it or the political aspect of it or everyday life, it opens your mind. And you begin to ask yourself, A, B, C, and D. So if those who have the time as they go along, I just plug that in Conservative Tree House, they'll be more knowledgeable and there'll be a lot for them to learn. Right. So once again, I thank you for inviting me.
I thank you too.
And spending time with me in this conversation, which I know we shall continue.
Thank you.
As time goes on.
Thank you.
And God bless you for your good work too.
God bless you too for spending special time with me. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Martin Betigo and I'm streaming live from Pennsylvania. Sorry, it's a recorded program that will be telecast very soon, the next 2 days. This is a new program we're trying to introduce, political affairs in the evening, where we invite resource people who are well delved into the American politics and then other things that pertain to life. But stay tuned, be blessed, be good. Mozart Woods Media is at the forefront of storytelling with the focus of pushing boundaries and delivering unparalleled entertainment. MWN Media is reshaping the way we experience media. Stay tuned for political affairs, entertainment, and other news. Stay tuned.
Yes, I. Greetings, family.